Hello, everyone. Welcome here. Today, we're going to play some Timberborn. And ideally, we're going to try to get some more farming space. Because I need more trees, I need more crops. Yeah. Over here, there's a large, relatively easy to reach spot that could use a little bit more green in its life. So we're going to try to get some water flowing through this channel. Probably not flowing, more like just sitting, but yeah, I think that's today's mission. But anyway, thank you very much for the subscription, Dread. Greatly appreciate it. 47 months. That is a considerable amount of time. Okay. So we're still waiting on the mine over here to finish. Which should happen any year now. Looks like they're not even halfway there on logs. And we're currently having a bit of a log shortage due to an evil bad tide murdering most of our oaks, which is one of the many reasons why we need to get this upper area watered. So, first of all, I need to figure out where we're going to get the water from. The easiest approach would be to take it from this water seep, because currently this water seep isn't being used for anything really. The reservoir is being kept at a height that's higher than what the water seep can supply. It's just kind of not doing anything. So if we build a small dam across the mouth of this, and then make some kind of water channel to bring that out here, we totally could. The alternative would be to pressurize it up from here, and then we'd have a shorter path to run. And I think that's actually the alternative I'm probably going to go for, because I would like to do that. We're kind of doing that anyway, actually. We have a setup. We just need scrap metal. So I guess that's kind of the next thing to work on. Let's see. I think we're actually going to go ahead and build this up like so. And then do I blow out a channel? I think I do. Because if I don't blow out a channel, we're going to put a little pool there at the end. There. We'll blow that out. Because if I don't blow out a channel, then it'll be harder to regulate the water flow out of here. So this can be fill valves, because we don't want continuous flow through there necessarily. Okay. Now, we don't need this old levee here anymore. I am going to go ahead and squeeze these resources to places where I can reach them. Because right now we need every log we can get our hands on. And that's a good number of logs right there. And we should also log this area off because we're going to want that wood anyway. Let's put in a crossing right there. And then that can go there. Let's give those high priorities. How far can these guys cut? Okay, they can cut it all. Good. No. Okay. Let's remove wood cutting in areas that are not relevant for wood cutting anymore. There's a few of those. Okay. That looks like the extent of it. So somewhere up here we're going to get trees planted once we green this up. And probably this area is going to be farms if I can arrange it. Why do we have a bunch of dead zone there? Oh, I see. We could do some irrigation barrier and fix that up pretty easily. That is completely sealed with blockages. Okay, that's good. Not that it really matters. This valley would be nearly perfect if you wanted to have a gigantic water reservoir. Because you just have to seal this gap right here. And then deal with this problem on this end. And you've already got a pressurized thing right there. You just have to block this off. Which would be somewhat annoying to do, but still plausible. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to get this built. We're 25 treated planks short. Which means we're just short the planks. No, we have the planks actually. Okay. We're out of gears, which is unsurprising. We need another 75 or so, looks like. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to build that mine. And unfortunately, while we wait for that mine to get built, we don't have any metal. And while there is other sources of ruins around, they're not convenient. Let's put it that way. How much metal do I have right now? 84. So they can definitely finish this tubeway. But honestly, I'm not going to leave this tubeway here for very long. It's going to get restructured to be underground probably pretty quickly. We'll dig a tunnel at this level and then... yeah. Connect up to our existing two-bay buildings from there. I'd like more two-bay buildings. I'd like one over here somewhere. This one's probably fine for this whole area. If we just have one on the other side of the river over here, it would be fine. Yeah. Anyway. We have quite a lot of fermented soybeans, actually, in storage. That's good. That's very good. Plenty of canola oil. We don't appear to really need any more of that. Okay. Do we have... They never have built this damn thing. Build that, please, so we can get fermented soybeans stored over here. They are shipping it across the district. So that's good. It's just not being hauled anywhere because there's nowhere to haul it. We do finally have bad water coming back in again. Because they did build these big deep bad water pumps. I think this is going to be our source for bad water for a while. Where is the actual source over here that is supplying that? Is it this one? Or is there a different one? There's one over here. This is part of it for sure. I think these two are both supplying it. Yeah, because this one's running down over there. Well, where was the other one running? It's just running out into here and going nowhere, which means it's going up. Okay. So that one... Interesting. This one is just running off this edge of the map somewhere over here. This one is the only one that's actually left pouring out into this tunnel. Down here. I believe. Yeah. Because we cut across those two. And those don't actually connect to each other, except on the surface. So if we were to cut this bad water here off, that would remove all the underground bad water over here. But that's not including the stuff that's underneath our base. And then we could, by sealing the bottom of that tunnel over here, pressurize this whole system. Probably. We don't really have a reason to do that yet, except that we could use this outlet to fill this upper area, which would be nice. The other bad water source, one that's over here somewhere, is making this big mess on the surface. And that one, if we got rid of it, we could actually improve things slightly in the area. So it would make sense... Actually, it's over here. It's right underneath here, I think. Which we do have access to, nearly. Yeah, right there's the center block of it. So if we blasted this out and then built a bad water thing on top of it. Oh, that's obviously wrong. Okay, wait. So this one should be the center tile, more or less. Oops. Yeah. Hello, survey. Okay. So that's where we want to explode in order to gain access to the underground bad water over there. Whether or not we actually bother to cap that right now is a different story, but if we uncap it, it will start flowing out directly right here instead of over there, which I don't actually want, because I do want to pump this out. Like I want these pumps to continue working. So we don't want to cap this yet. But we can blow the top a little bit off to remind myself that it's there in the future. Okay, these guys cleared that area in record time. Good for them. Now, got a drought on the way. Should be no problem. The reservoir is full. How's the mine coming along? We've got all the logs. We're 10 gears short. We have all the treated planks, so we're almost done. 10 gears and we're there. And last time we looked, we're a lot more than 10 gears short, so it shouldn't be long at all before that's finished. This is still being worked on because we don't have logs. Not very surprising, honestly. Let's bump the priority on saving these up so they don't get removed. There's a log storage over there that can be used for that. I was kind of surprised I didn't pick it up already, but oh well. Alright. There's quite a lot of infrastructure out here that can all be torn down. These floodgates, this bit up here at the top, can't be. But like most of these platforms, they should all go. These levees can't be. They're important. Okay. So I do want those platforms. These platforms I do not care about. These platforms I do not care about. Those ones I don't care about because their original purpose is long gone. These platforms are no longer needed. Okay. We'll leave the rest as messy looking as they are. The stuff down here at the bottom of the waterfall, or what was a waterfall and will no longer be one, can all go away. Okay. Damn you. Okay. Clearly we're getting ourselves into more trouble than it's worth. This will go where I want it to go, or else. There we go. There we go. That stuff's all up on the shore. That's down where the rest of the stuff is. That's on the shore. That's up on the shore. Oh, really? You will not be teleporting to the bottom of the deepest hole on the map. Okay, where'd it go? Over there. Of course it went over there. Okay, maybe it will be. How much is it? 20 planks. It's probably worth saving. Dang it, I teleported underneath that. Several of them teleport underneath those, where they're going to be really hard to get back. Oh well. Could be worse, I suppose. Most of it's in recoverable positions. That's all that matters. Should regain us a lot of resources. Let's mark all this stuff that's reachable. Alright, I need to figure out how to get that out from underneath there, and I think I can just use... prevent it from coming this way at all. And then we use... Oh, let's just use an automation lever. There. I should have teleported it to here. There's 30 planks on that one. Okay, this one's 11 planks and it really needs to be moved. Where'd it go? I don't know. It disappeared. It might have popped down to the tunnel below us somehow. Or it might have popped into right there. I think that's reachable by beavers. should be reachable by beavers. It is not reachable by beavers. But we can fix that pretty easily. Listen here, you piece of shit. You will go where I want you to, or else. Okay. Believe that's everything. I'll push to areas where the beavers can get to it. Now. Next up, aside from waiting for the mine to produce enough scrap to matter, which it has produced scrap now, 25 of it. Does that mean they finished this sensor? They've got some scrap there, but they haven't finished it yet. Okay, there we go. Overlook depth sensor is enabled. You. When the depth sensor is off, unlimited flow. Okay, that should fill both of these to max and then stop. Which we're going to have to actually cancel because we don't want water just flowing out up here, which is what would happen otherwise. So let's cut this down to tell this to stop at 0.5, and that'll get us this half full, and that one stopped it near the top. But anyway, we're almost there. We just need to finish the dam up here, and then it'll be ready to run. So these, I want them to be set to 0.8 maybe? No, we'll do 0.75. Which is not actually going to be there. It's going to be one level below once we've dynamited it out. And that should fill this whole area up without much fuss or bother. This is dammed off right No, it is not. Okay, well, we need to fix that then. Just build some levees in there, I guess, for now. Oh, and these levees gotta go. Eventually. Okay. Yeah, we gotta get rid of these tubeways I just built. I mean, they're not even built yet, and I'm already wanting to get rid of them. Because they're in the way. They need to go underground. So first we need to get... Okay, actually, I'm going to cancel building this. Because we do have a levee there that will stop this area from getting filled. So we can just fill this upper area first, and then worry about filling the lower area later. I'm not sure where I'm going to plant trees yet. But we're going to have a large part of this be forest. I think. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. So these areas, they do not have the water pressure, or they're not connected to this area. So this area does not pressurize the same area that this is taking from, and therefore this area will not fill when there's a drought. I was a little bit worried that this would fill from the mid-reservoir, but I forgot I designed it so it wouldn't do that. Okay. Looks like we're out of middle blocks. Oh, we're almost out of middle blocks, okay. In this district. The other district has some of its own. But that's fine. We've got scrap metal coming in. Quite a lot of it, actually. We can produce metal blocks again. So that is not an issue. How is the plank storage here doing? It's basically full. Good. We're low on treated planks, but that's to be expected. The plank storage up here isn't particularly full. And that's also fine. Alright. Okay. Let's see. We need more beaver hospital beds because we're getting more beaver injuries. What with the new mine. We have 24 free jobs and no beavers to take them in this district. Which means I really need to start thinking about better beaver housing. Better beaver housing specifically so we can get more beavers. Right here would be a not bad place to build the housing. Because realistically, we're never going to use this upper area for anything else. So we do need to get access to the tubeway up there, though. Which should be really easy, actually. Because we can dynamite our way down to this tubeway. From anywhere we want, pretty much along here. Okay. So... large barracks, of course. What kind of a beaver housing structure do I want to build? Okay. We'll blow out a little bit right there. And then put in that. And then we blow out a little bit right here. We'll have 6 beaver housing structures on one level. Which we can connect into our existing highly inefficient paths. But that's fine. We're not actually planning to have a whole lot of actual beaver pathing right there. Okay, where... right there is where the tubeway is. So that'll work if we blow this out. But I'm going to do it that way instead. Let's see, that was where the tubeway was? Yes, I believe so. Yep. Okay. So we'll blast our way down there to get access to the tubeway. I'm going to go ahead and assign this high priority to get that done. And then... so that'll be where the tubeway station sits. The next thing that I want to do in here is run double platforms up the center. Like so. And that'll be for like a second story. We're definitely putting a second story on here. So that we won't have to worry about housing for a very, very long time. Okay. And then that gets a double platform. And that gets a single platform. And we put stairs up from there. Boom. Double platform to the or level stairway to the next level is in. Now, on top of this, we're going to have amenities of various sorts. So, how do I want to access this level? We'll do like this. Give them a little partial spiral. And that'll get them up on the top level here, where we'll have various upper deck activities like decoration, some well-being bullshit. Okay, campfires. We'll put 2 there to start. Rooftop terraces are going to go on top of the roof, obviously. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, we're way too high up on the cliff to put showers up here. Although we can put those like down here. We already have some down there. We're probably fine on that front. Could put like back scratchers there or something. Swimming pools we have over here for now. That's not a great place for them, so we'll want to move them over here instead. Probably. Yeah, we can put them over here where there's no good place to farm. Okay. And they can get there either by running down around this way or by taking the tube way from here to there and running over. So that shouldn't be that big of a deal. Alright. Next up, I'm going to destroy these stairs because I don't like them. And we're going to build better, more modern stairs. Which is obviously going to make it somewhat difficult to get up to the top of the cliff for a little bit. Okay, there was a reason why I didn't do it this way. And that was because it would limit access to this level. So we're not doing that. However, we can do a lot better than what we did before. Let's do that just for the hell of it. And because I think it looks cool. Is it substantially better than what we had? Not really. Put a lantern there. Put a lantern there. Let's see. I don't really have a whole lot of spaces left for decoration over here. Which is somewhat unfortunate because we kind of do need them. Decoration's where you get a lot of your well-being. We probably have enough shrubs, I could probably remove that. Instead, gonna remove those two and put lanterns there where they'll get a lot of people running in through the center of town. Okay. They really should do something about those wounded beavers. Where am I going to put our beaver hospital? How about right there? That's 7 medical beds, which is not enough. Okay, that's better. They won't get a chance to build all of those, but not yet. Now, we do have a bunch of logs in storage. What are all these lazy bastards doing? Oh. There's no builders because we're drastically short on jobs right now. All right. Let's set the workplace priority on the district center up a little bit, or a lot of it, as the case may be. That should at least get some building started. Ooh. Ooh. We better bump those up to max, actually. We're going to lose a whole bunch of logs because they weren't building anything. Oh well. How are things going over here? Pretty good. 18 well-being on some random beaver we picked out. 16 well-being on this one. Not sure what this one's missing out on. It doesn't have web fur for starters. Not very many of them here have wet fur, actually. Which, considering the showers are way the hell over there, might have something to do with it. Might not. Alright, anyway. Oh, this is overflowing. It's not supposed to be overflowing. Yeah, it stopped. We need to get these dams done. And just as importantly, we need to blow out this area below the dams. They'll get around to it eventually. We have 7 injured beavers. Okay, nobody's working at the mine. That's fine. We have plenty of scrap metal there. So you can pause it manually. Matter of fact, we don't need that many beavers there even at the best of times. Yeah. Alright. Beaver injuries are being fixed up. Okay. This is closed. Yep. So the center here, this to get built, and then we can eventually explode this and it'll function. Hopefully. Oh, did this over here ever get built? It did, okay. Let's fill that in the rest of the way. That's a different district than over here, so it doesn't matter if we waste beavers working on that. The farming district is much more stable as far as population goes. They're at 11 unemployed beavers. Okay, we could actually employ some more farmers then, it looks like. It doesn't really look like we need more haulers or anything. Seems fine on farmers and everything. We just have a bunch of unemployed beavers over here that we could do something with. We could expand into a new farming industry, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We got the tube-way station here done. That's big. Are we still short on metal blocks? No? Then what do you mean you can't get materials? That's weird. They're acting like they can't get metal blocks. This stupid bastard beaver. Let's put in a thing over there for him. Blow those. Set target height back to 0.75. Okay. Now we can bump this up to where it's supposed to be, which is higher than where it is. So I'm going to set this lower than where I actually want it, because I think there's a good bit of delay inherent in the fact that this is pressurized, filling from a pressurized source. It seems to be a bit springy. Yeah, because see, even though it shut off, it's still rising. Okay. So, we're just a bit of dynamite away from having this area flooded. Hell yeah. All right. Now, they're working on the dynamite right now. This will be able to go any second now. And then we'll be able to start planting crops in here, probably. I want trees, I think, over here in the narrower area. Which means I'm going to put the forester probably here. Yeah. And we'll plant this whole area to oak. That darn well better be enough oak. And then this area can get planted to more oak, maybe. We don't really need pine. Yeah, more oak. More wood is never a bad thing. And then we'll put up some lumberjack flags. One on either side of the forester. Like that. I don't know if 2 lumberjacks will be enough, but if we want to need more, we can add more. And we need a tooth grindstone. Oh, where's the damn thing? There we go. We'll put that there. This area is not going to be mostly irrigated yet. That'll require some further work. Namely, flooding this down here to get to the end. But once this whole area is flooded, it should fill pretty much the whole valley. Okay, there's a bit back there that's not being reached. We can put in some channels to irrigate this. Actually, it might irrigate itself as it fills up more. We'll see. Oh, it ran out of water at the top. That's why it stopped. Okay. The way this system is pressurizing itself is not going to work long term. Well, maybe it will. As long as we don't have huge flow demands on this, it should work. The problem we're having here is that because there's 2 separate exits a long ways away from each other and from where the fill area is, and this one's the controlling one, they're not balancing very well. There's slosh in the system that's... It should balance as long as we don't have large draws on either side. Which it should stop large draws as soon as this is full. Yeah. Okay, so we want this area over here to be irrigated. We will have to put in irrigation channels to get back there. Which, okay, sure, whatever. And this area will be irrigated once we get this lower area filled. Which is not going to happen until we redo the tubeway station, which looks like it's actually working now. That's good. Okay. Well, actually, now that we have the tubeway station in, we can just go ahead and demolish that. I think we're just going to put levees in there for now. And then we'll do this. That should get beavers from the nearest tubeway down there to fix that. Speaking of tubeways, I need to plan the tubeway extension to go up to here. Where do I want to put that? Pretty solid argument for putting it off here. But also that would be inconvenient in some ways. There's an argument for putting off here. If we dug our tunnel like right here, it would just miss the bottom of this lake. And we'd bring it over to like there somewhere. And then over to here and up. I don't know. It's not, since we have a tubeway that runs over there, it's not a huge priority right now. But also if we run across here, then we can put a tubeway station over here. That's actually a higher priority. So what we'd actually be doing is we'd be digging a tunnel over to here to put a tubeway in, and then we'd be running another tunnel from there to over here to remove the upper tubeway eventually. But that's much lower priority than getting the second tubeway over here somewhere. So where exactly over here do I want the tubeway, and how exactly do I want these paths to go? We do like that. Yeah, sure, why not? I don't see any reason not to run it like that. Then we can put a stairway there to get up to the next level if we want to. So that indicates that we want the tubeway to be like here somewhere. Probably. Or here. Or here. However, we do want to get irrigation over to this area. So I think what we're going to do actually is we're going to run dynamite. I haven't done this in a long time. Going to run dynamite to there. And to there. And we're going to put in an irrigation channel. Now, small areas do not irrigate very far away from each other. Away from themselves, I mean. So we're going to have to put an irrigation pond out here somewhere, probably. And we're likely going to have to put in something to stop this bad water from getting over there. Or we're going to have to put in irrigation barriers. Either one would likely work fine. But this will be cheaper and easier to do. Thirsty beavers? No, they got plenty of water. Okay. Let's increase the priority slightly on that staircase. So they build that before all this housing. And then we can go ahead and blow that. Which gets us access to that. Okay, this is where the tubeway goes. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like deep. Yeah. Okay. So that's top priority. And this bit of tubeway right here gets deleted. And a vertical tubeway goes in there. And that is top priority to build. Okay. We got a bad tide coming soon. That shouldn't be a threat for anything. That's ready to blow. One layer of dynamite should get us to that tubeway perfectly. Yep. Okay, then we just build vertical tubeway in that hole and put the tubeway station on top of it. After we blow that last bit of dynamite. Okay. Boom. You can see the tubeway at the bottom. Tubeway station goes right in there where it belongs. Set that to max priority so they get it done. That'll get the workers up here much more quickly. As soon as they build this dynamite, we can blow it out and put the last house in here. Or the last house on this level. There's the bad tide. Not that it will actually affect anything. See, we're not actually getting bad water here because the level in the reservoir is too high for the seep to run. So until and unless the reservoir level goes down, this will never actually produce bad water. Just pretty okay by my standards. Okay, that can be blown. Let's get the large barracks in there. And then we have another level of large barrack that goes on top of that. And then we have fun things like rooftop terraces and such like to go up here. I think I'm just going to run rooftop terraces all the way along both sides. However, decoration first. Let's put shrub, shrub, shrub. And then what else do we want up here? Probably beaver statues. Although actually technically we only need one bit of roof. We could put something else, but I like the way that looks a little better, I think. And then... oh wait, no. I'm an idiot. We don't want roof out here at all. I have a much better place to put roof. Okay, lanterns. And... braziers. No, because we can put those up the middle easily enough. Same with beaver busts. I mean, we can put anything we want up the middle, really. I think that's most of the decoratives already, actually. Yeah, that's most of the decoratives that actually matter. Might just put in some beaver statues for looks then. Alright, and then up the center we run platforms. And these get their own decorations on top of them. We're going to have to put in some temporary stairs and stuff to get beavers up here to build this shit, but... there, and we put roof down the center. braziers go there. Wish that clock was a little shorter. Though actually the clock doesn't reach to the center from there. Oh, it does. Okay. We could put the bells up there actually, because they reach the same amount of distance as the clock does. And we can tear out the center roof and put a clock there. Like so. And that gets full coverage of bell, clock, well, everything really. Okay. And then rooftop terraces. Not sure if I want the full 6 up there or not. We could probably definitely use a full 6 on top of such a large housing complex. Alright, it's a bit ridiculous having that much decoration just packed in on top of the buildings like that. But that will resolve nearly every decorative need they might ever have. We've got shrub, lantern, roof, brazier, bust, statue, bell, clock. I think that's actually everything. All on top of their housing complex. Every beaver who sleeps in this housing complex is going to be fully decorated out. Okay. However, we're not putting in the terraces yet, because it's going to make it too hard to get to where they need to get to stuff to build. And then, speaking of getting things to build, let's put those in so they can get up to the tops of these and build that shit. Alright, once that's all built, we can tear out the entire old beaver housing complex, and we should have much happier beavers. And these beavers over here are going to be jealous, which means we should probably build them an all-new housing complex, or at least improve this one significantly. I think I'm going to go ahead and tear out this terrace. And then we'll tear out a bunch of these roofs. Okay. Lantern is a short-range one, so we can't really put that anywhere that would cover these guys without removing this roof here, which I might end up doing. Yeah, let's delete that roof for now. Okay. Lantern. Put one there. Put one there. Covers the whole roof. Okay, beaver bust. Unfortunately, we cannot cover the whole area with one beaver bust. This is just a little bit too far away from that building. And this is a little too far away from the other building. If we designed this slightly better, we could have. But we're going to need 2. Beaver statue. We can cover the whole thing with one beaver statue. That's fine. Bell. Similar situation. We can cover the whole thing with one bell placed right here. Clock. We can cover the whole thing with one clock as long as we put it in one of these 2 tiles. Or over here, for that matter. Or here. It's going to reduce our rooftop terrace area. Okay, brazier. Do that. So that should get us everything. Clock, bell, statue, bust. Shrub. No, we don't have shrub. We can put one there and get full shrub coverage though. That does significantly cut down on our available rooftop terrace area. And also these guys aren't covered anymore. Okay, how many free houses do we have? 34. And these hold... how many? 8? So that cut down like half of our free beds if we delete these 2 buildings. But also... goodbye, buildings. We need our happy... friendly beavers over here. We need to import some metal scrap. Which I had disallowed import earlier because they were the suppliers. Okay. Now that metal scrap production has changed, we will convert that around. Okay. This is not able to hold many more beavers, only about 20 more. A little less. But that's fine. We can live with that. This beaver's got 25 well-being, which means he gets plus 100% working speed, plus 30% move speed, and plus 40% lifespan. It's pretty solid. Aesthetics is completely filled out. Okay. There is, of course, a lot more we can get from monuments and stuff, but we don't have any of those right now. Okay, those guys are complaining there's nothing to do in range. That's fine, expected. Okay. They're almost done placing all the dynamite for the future irrigation channels. We will have to put an irrigation pond back here, because channels alone aren't going to be enough. We have removed the bad water effect up here with this little dam. So that's pretty nice. Gonna go ahead and blow that triple dynamite. That gets us 1 block away from being able to open up this bad water source and cap it. Which we don't want to do yet because we don't have the resources to cap it right now. And because if we capped it, even if we forced it open, it would no longer well up over here. At least not as high. And these pumps wouldn't be able to reach anymore. And right now that's where we're pumping out our bad water. You'd have to move our bad water pumps again, and I don't want to do that right now. Later. We will definitely do that later. How are we doing for unemployed beavers? We only have 7 of them. Okay. Or 7 jobs that don't have beavers, I mean. Okay. That's good. It's very good indeed. So I'd like to get all of our beaver stuff out of this valley except the industry, maybe. So by moving the housing up here, we'll move the farming up here, we'll put food and water up there somewhere. I might pump the water out of this hole here. Yeah. How many water pumps do I currently have? 4? Okay. I think we can do better than that. Well, I know we can do better than that. We can put at least 4 right there. Okay. Now. Actually, consistency. Gonna clean up the paths up top here. Okay, we got 6 pumps sucking water out of there. That should be fine. Now let's go in and delete paths we don't need anymore. Which is a lot of them. A lot of them. All right. Now, water storage. Let's put the water storage. Let's get rid of these two small storages. They don't really make sense anymore. Put a large tank right there. Boom. Set it to supply. Okay, this area with all the beaver housing is going to need a water storage. Where do I want to put it? There's not really any good room to put one in. We could put it here. I don't think that I can get to that area, because we can't put a platform here. And I don't think I can put in... No, we can't put a overhang in over to the top of that either. Okay. So that won't work. We could remove one of these campfires and put it there. That's not a great idea. Actually, what we can do is do that. Boom. Boom. And that gets us... Yeah. That's probably better than putting in the campfire there that I was thinking we might do eventually. We would need to put a dirt block there or blow that out to put a campfire there anyway. So this is fine. Okay, so that gets us water stored there. Or at least it will once I remember to set the material. Then... I probably want more water storage just someplace else. Oh yeah, this needs to be set to obtain. I can probably put some more water storages in over here later. And I would kind of like to redesign this eventually so that we have better pressure control. Because right now, controlling pressure once from a central location over here, it functions, but not very well. So I would like to be able to have a separate pressure valve over here at the bottom of this, which I could totally do. I would just need to... I don't think I can build underneath the edge of the lip there. Hello, Treebeard. Building is going quite well. We have a new housing complex going in up here, which is going to make a bunch of very happy beavers, because it has every single decorative in the game on top of it. We have improved the old housing complex over here to have more decoratives. So these beavers are very happy. We've irrigated this upper area, though we're not doing anything much with it yet, except starting to plant a new forest. And matter of fact, I'm about ready to explode dynamite here to put in irrigation channels. Which actually irrigates a little more than I thought it was going to. Okay. Okay. I do still want to put in larger areas over here and there for, what do I call it? For better irrigation. Okay, we probably should start work on the underground. I think we're going to put the tubeway right here. Which means I'm going to blow out that for the tubeway. And then beside it, we'll blow out an area like that for farmhouses, maybe? Let's see, where are... Because yeah, if we put farmhouses right there, they have full coverage. Put them over here, they have even better coverage. I think we want like 3 farmhouses there. Yeah, that should do it. The real reason we're blowing this out is so we can irrigate this area. And that'll give us, well, farmhouse coverage for free. But like, I don't know, maybe 2 farmhouses there. Like that. And that'll irrigate that, hopefully. Okay, but this gets blown out to get us dynamite down in there. Or not dynamite. To get us access to the tubeway. Okay. Tunnel. Boom. Not there, because that gets blasted from above. And then this... gets blasted out. So that we can put in a path to go this way. Because you can build a single wide tunnel using tubeways, but man, that takes forever. So we're not doing that. There's nothing above or below it that'll cause any problems. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be our new water source. We're going to suck the water out of that hole. Which should work pretty well. And that's where we're getting the water for this valley. Is flowing out of here. Go ahead and set that to high priority. Can't get required materials, planks. Really? We're out of planks? We are. Okay. Well, I know where we can harvest some more of them. Collect those planks, people. Got your mounts in today. Got the mount up, tightened down. The rink should be here tomorrow and Friday. I can't remember which one is the right one. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. All right. This has been blasted. We need to demolish that and that. And then vertical tubeways like so. That tubeway goes. And we put a standard tubeway there. And then we'll run tubeways from here to here, where vertical tubeways will go to the surface. Where we'll have a tubeway station right there. Alright. This, of course, gets set to be maximum priority. Because it's very disruptive to put in these little underpasses. So eventually this tubeway is going to run to wherever we... Well, I want to stop pumping bad water out of here. This was kind of thrown together to get me bad water in a bit of a hurry without thinking about it too much, because that was the nearest, easiest place I could pump bad water out of. But I can easily divert this bad water and shut it off. Like, just remove it. So... yeah. Let's remove this tree cutting area now that it's no longer relevant. And let's re-put in this tree cutting area. So those little idiots stop complaining about not having anything to do. Okay, that is in, which means this gets blown out, which will cut off access to the opposite side, or at least it would, if it wasn't for the fact that there's a tubeway up there. Now, let's just use some ghost buildings to teleport those resources up here where they can be easily grabbed. Okay. Now, this has been fixed up underground. So now we just gotta wait for them to get around to doing that. They're short on planks, unsurprisingly. Did they clear out all these planks already? They did. Okay. Gotta be careful what we delete here. Okay. All those planks away, please. How are we doing? We're out of scrap metal again. Okay, let's go ahead and unpause that mine. We'll get a couple of beavers working over there. Okay, they'll clean that up in no time. We need better beaver industry. By a lot. to get better beaver industry, we're going to need to build a better beaver industrial sector. We do have enough power that we can do considerably more, and we can also build more power very easily. So right now we just need more beavers, and that's what this is going to solve. Once we have a larger housing center for this district, we can start putting in more beaver breeding. And I might actually want to go ahead and upgrade to the advanced breeding pods, which uses extract instead of water. But like, we have plenty of extract, that's not a problem. Yeah. Remove all the old breeding pods. Put in advanced breeding pods up here somewhere. That'd be the idea. That would be an idea. So where are all our planks going right now anyway? What are we even building? Oh, they're all going over to here, that's right. Okay. I'm fine with that. I don't want those built though. Looks like those are beaver reachable, so let's go ahead and order them for recovery. There's a plank storage right here that's not being used because it's miles away from anything relevant. Except, of course, where we're actually using planks. Let's order that hauled away too. So you can use Alt and use the scroll wheel to change your view of the terrain. Why do I have planks on the surface there? Oh, they teleported up through the ground when I deleted the supports for the tunnel. Some of them did. That's weird. Why would they do that? Well, we're not ever recovering those planks. Yeah, we might need a second forester, really. Oh well. Not right now, we don't. These water pumps should probably go away. Not quite yet, but soon. We've got tons of food stored. Oh, did they ever build that soybean storage over here? Yes, they did. Okay, good. I need to build new food storages over here for these guys. I kind of want to use large storages for that. So we might end up putting in a food center right over... Oh... Where should I put food storage? We could do some digging and put it underground over here, like dug into the cliff. That would be a bit slow. Alternatively, we can put it over here. Which would be a little inconvenient in some ways. Okay, how many different food storages do we need? Not like right now, but eventually. Berries, kohlrabi, mangrove. Okay, we need 9. Not all of them need to be large food storages for sure. Matter of fact, there's some strong argument to be made that over here we should just use small storages. Or, medium storages. We could just use small storages right here and then put larger storages farther away and count on haulers. That's not inherently a bad idea. Actually, here's kind of a fun idea. We can put them off this end in a little area over here. Maybe. How would I do that if I was going to do it? It'd be kind of a pain to get these 2 levels together. Could bring those guys up 1. That would make it even worse. Bring those guys down 1 and then turn them like that. Then we'd still have to extend farther out past the end. I don't want to do that. So let's not do that idea. Yeah. I think that we'll just do this. And put in small warehouses for our main sources of food. Yeah, like that. And then these can be set to the most important sources and set to obtain. So kohlrabi, the various fermented foods that we're producing right now. And I suppose for now, we'll do mangrove fruits over here as well. Berries we'll put over here near the... Okay, berries we'll put over here, next to where we're going to put the new breeding pods. Okay. We'll give them little roofs that look nice. That stair is not needed, obviously. Okay, that's not reachable without a stair. Okay. Okay, anyway. That'll all get built eventually. How is it things going underground? Things are not going underground because they're still going too slowly on the surface. Roger that. We're going to lose all of these oaks to bad tide, which is distressing but not solvable. Okay, the forester did finish planting what I ordered him to plant. I am going to go in and order him to plant even more oaks. Or no, he's not actually quite done. Well, whatever. We'll give him some more oaks to plant. And he'll get around to that eventually. We really should probably have a second forester. I'm going to go ahead and order this not to replant. I'll wait. If I start seeing him falling behind when cutting behind the tree cutters, then I'll worry about it. But there's no point preemptively putting in a second forester until we need it. Okay. We're really short on logs, which is distressing, but not easily solvable. We could cut some of these trees around here and get a small injection of logs. But most of the cuttable trees of any value are part of the other district, actually. How are you guys doing on logs? You're doing on fine, mostly. Once these oaks up here come in, which they're about half grown, that'll completely solve that problem. There's bad tide. Shouldn't be an issue. So the mountaintop reservoir we're using over here, it is useful, It works, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of capacity at the end of the day. And I'm kind of looking around. I don't see anywhere else that we could put in a reservoir that would really help replace it. So if we want to expand this reservoir, we're either going to have to dynamite out the top of this mountain to make it larger that way, or we're going to have to build it taller with levees. Or we can build it taller with dirt blocks once we have access to those. There's nothing stopping us from getting dirt blocks, I just haven't built the dirt excavator yet. Yeah. All right. So they do have all these platforms done. They just need to bring logs over to build these deep water pumps. So if I remove the old deep water pumps, that should get them to build them. As long as it's not immediately stolen by every other thing that needs wood. Which is a lot, apparently. Wait, why don't I have any scrap metal? They're just slow at it because there's only 2 beavers assigned. That's fine. Oh wait, no, we have a ton of scrap metal here. It's just not being hauled. Lazy bastards. All that shit. You have a tubeway right there. Oh well. It really doesn't help that in the middle of the log shortage we're building new housing, which takes a tremendous amount of logs. That's kind of putting a crimp on our style at the moment. Yeah. Every time there's a bad tide, over half of our oaks die. But thankfully, the new oaks will solve that problem. How close are you guys to grown? 50-some%. Okay. They take 30 days to grow, so it's going to be a while yet before we can start harvesting them, but each oak is worth 8 logs by itself, which is quite a lot. Yeah. So the plan for now is let this keep building. It's the next highest priority. Once that's done, finish this and the tubeway leading to it, which will take a lot of planks. And then once that's done, turn this into a farming center. I'm not sure what we're going to grow there, though. We have soybeans. Let's see, what crops do we have available as the Iron Teeth? We should move our kohlrabi production over to here. We don't have to worry about any of the fermented crops, I don't think. So we should probably start growing corn and eggplant over here. Okay, we should grow canola, corn, eggplant, and soybeans over here. The canola should be immediately just crushed for oil. Because that's all that's good for, obviously. And then these three. Let me think. We don't have fermented mushrooms, but that's fine. Actually, wait. I thought there was a soybean. There is not. Okay. So we don't need to grow soybeans over here. Because the only thing for soybeans is fermented soybeans, which we can import. Because we're growing those elsewhere. So we should just grow corn and eggplant over here and make corn rations and eggplant rations. And then algae and fermented mushrooms we can worry about some other time. Because algae and fermented mushrooms are a space-efficient vertical crop. They don't need to be planted in irrigated land. They're grown in a hydroponic garden. Basically, they're a factory crop. So you can do some pretty silly stuff with hydroponic gardens. Provided you have the water available, of course. Actually coffee. What do we need to do to make coffee? We need 4 coffee we can make with 1 coffee bean. We might want to plant some of this area to coffee beans as well. Or maybe we should do that over here in some of these narrower areas. Yeah, we want kohlrabi. We want corn, we want eggplant, and we want coffee planted over here. Okay, eggplant is 3 every 12 days, and corn is 2 every 10 days. So, what is the actual processing recipe for these? Okay, corn does not require oil, eggplant does. But it produces 6 instead of 5. So corn is the cheap and easy option. Eggplant is the slightly more efficient, slightly more expensive, slightly harder option. So we probably want to do more eggplant and less corn. Which means we probably want... Let's just lay out small patches. I can remember what I want to do. I think we're going to plant this corner in canola. This corner in corn. And this much larger corner in eggplant. And then this little corner here, I don't know, kohlrabi. We do want some kohlrabi planted. And we should probably plant some more kohlrabi elsewhere as well, like down here. Because we do want to have kohlrabi available just for the happiness bonus. Okay. Bad tide's over. Plenty about water, which is not too surprising. That reservoir will naturally get low. Okay. One thing we do need to worry about is this area does not have a good supply reservoir for droughts. We'll need to fix that eventually. It's got enough aquatic mass that it's not going to immediately dry up. But in a long drought, we could end up losing our crops due to this not being... I mean, it's got some reservoir up there. But it's not an immediate emergency. And this will help a lot, having it too deep there. But really what we need to do is we need to get access to the underground area and pressurize through this passage so that we can use the high reservoir. Combined with improving this high reservoir, that'll help a lot. That is the idea anyway. Okay, they continue to work on improving the housing. How much do these things cost? 20 metal blocks. That's kind of expensive, but they look cool, and that's what matters, I guess. Kind of surprised that one singular soybean fermenter is supplying the entire colony's soybean needs. I guess they have enough food variety that it's not a problem. We don't really need a huge amount of any one food production. Just needs to be distributed. Okay, we're down to 7 unfilled jobs, which are probably haulers. Yep. That's how that works. I'll set that to low priority like it's supposed to be. I bumped it to high when we were having a issue with getting some things built earlier. Yeah, we need to get beavers moved out of this complex down here. Okay, campfires we have up there. Rooftop terraces we're going to have up there. Tooth grindstone we have placed. Showers, we're going to use the same old showers for now. We'll build new, better ones later. Medical beds we have built. We don't actually have any decontamination pods built anywhere. I should probably fix that. But they do need to be built somewhere where there's mechanical power. So I'll have to think about that. Anyway, scratchers. Let's kind of jam a few of these in wherever we have empty space. Yeah, there we go, that'll work. You can put one up on the top level. Okay, swimming pool. We have swimming pools that haven't actually been built already over here, so that's good. That's taken care of. Okay, that's everything we have unlocked is built. We'll worry about unlocking more things later. So there's no longer any recreational things that are down here that we need. Once this stuff is built, obviously. We might want to put in more scratchers, but... Okay. How many breeding pods do I have? 5. Let's go ahead and unlock the advanced breeding pod. Okay. And let's start getting rid of some of these old ones. Well, we are going to want an extract tank up here, I guess. Let's stick it over there. You want extract, obtain, obtain. Okay. Let's get rid of those. All right. So the advanced breeding pod produces adult beavers directly, which will save us a little bit of time, get us population faster, things like that. But it does cost extract instead of water, which would be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that we have plenty of extract. So I am not at all worried about that. All right, now. Now, we continue waiting, I guess. We are doing a pretty good job getting this stuff built, finally. The stuff that doesn't require logs, anyway. How long until we start getting the second way? Okay, the oaks here are 85% grown. So that'll be a pretty big deal once that's finished. That should turbocharge our log production. Which is good, because we need them. Okay. Yeah, we got plenty of soybeans. We got plenty of canola over here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bump up the priority very slightly on these warehouses, because I would like to have food warehoused over here where they're using it. They did finish this large water tank, which is good. Now we'll have water right next to where we need it. And I also am going to bump priority on these scratchers. We're almost ready to move away from the old. Let's put some rooftop terraces up here. No, we can't quite yet, because they'll still block off the ability to build this stuff. I'm going to bump priority on those too, so we can get the terraces built across the backside here. That's more important than getting these last 2 lodges built. Which, like, I do want those lodges built. But I'd like the terraces more. Okay. Yeah. We have 8 jobs without beavers. 170 free beds. That number is going to drop a bunch when we start deleting these barracks. But not that much. Okay. %of the way to getting those oaks ready. Lovely. Okay, they are working on these. That's good. Somewhat, anyway. Okay. This district, things are going well. Yeah. New well-being, high score. Yay. Not very hard at this point. There's a lot of very easy wins I could do to get well-being piled up. Buying these monuments and building them, for example. Sure, they're expensive. But like labor monument, 200 logs. With the oaks over here producing, 200 logs would not be that big of a deal. And that's like a free +1 or 2 or whatever it is. By just plunking one near the houses. Not that big of a deal. Flame of Unity. Similar deal, just plunk one near the houses, boom. It does cost metal parts, which is kind of annoying, but... Yeah, how much do those actually give? It's +3 for Labor Monument, +5 for Flame of Unity, +8 for Tribute to Ingenuity, which is 100 treated plank, 300 metal block, 400 gear. Okay, this would be a little bit annoying to build. Also, it takes 600 horsepower, which is not really a problem. We can just stick it like anywhere near the center of the colony and it'll cover the whole area. And as far as I know, as long as you have their housing covered with whatever you build, it will juice them up the whole time they're sleeping, and then when they wake up in the morning, they'll be able to go the whole day without having to worry about. Okay. None of that's been built. Not that I expected it to be because of build priority order. I am going to have to get some scaffolding built to get over to these levees. They're not required to build. I just like them to build because it looked nicer. Okay, the first of the oaks are coming in. Hell yeah. Logs, glorious logs. In vast quantities. Well, not really vast quantities, but pretty decent quantities. That should turbocharge our construction. Yeah, look at that. Those are all done already. Well-being, rooftop terrace, boom, boom, and boom. And then we just go ahead and set these to high priority. Okay. At this point, we can pretty much just go ahead and delete the old housing complex. I'm going to go ahead and set this medium tank to empty. And this large tank to empty. Because they're both going to go away. These two large tanks should be all we need for this colony. Then we'll let them finish a little bit more up here. Alright, beautiful. We could put in more than 2 lumberjack flags, and I probably should. I'm going to go ahead and put in another 2 breeding pods, which should lead to a mini population boom. But that's good, because we kind of need one of those. Okay. Delete that tank and recover a bunch of resources. Start deleting housing. Recover a bunch of resources. Order them all to be hauled away. All right. Got all of our little food warehouses there set up. Yeah, stop eating all the mangrove fruits, you idiots. Go for the stuff we can replace more easily. Part of me kind of wants to fill up this basin here in the middle so I can plant this all the mangroves. But no. That would reduce our water containment there too much, and I don't want to do that. Okay. All the old housing has been removed. Okay. Let's get all that mess cleaned up. That's not reachable. Yeah, it's just 5 planks. Nobody cares. Okay. So we're all shifted over to the new housing. Lovely. Next up, get this crap done. We just do still need to finish a few things over here. It looks like we actually have plenty of rooftop terrace capacity. So that's good. It's not going to stop me from building more anyway. Yeah. Well, maybe we could put some other things up on this side or something. I'll have to think about it. We could put in some tail detailers in the middle or something. Yeah, why not? We'll put like 3 of those in the middle. And I suppose we should build some of these over here too. Let's put in an extract tank. We do have extract being imported here already. And then I should remove all of these breeding pods and replace them with advanced pods. What is the population here actually? Population here is 75 adult beavers. Over here it is 63 adult beavers. Really? Okay, I didn't realize we were that close in population. Where do I actually want to put the breeding pods? I think we'll put them here. And that way we can get rid of all this. Okay. Apparently you can assign different patterns to those. Sure, whatever. Wonder what the actual format for that is. Okay, the breeding stuff has been upgraded. Let's put in a lantern for decorative reasons. Well-being's gone up to 24. That's fine and expected. Okay. I'm going to remove the lumberjacks from down here. Not that one, actually. And then I'm going to order them to not plant oaks anymore, because we have new, better oaks. I am going to let them continue planting pines. We're going to pause that lumberjack for now. This campfire can go. It no longer serves a purpose. That forester can go. I think we're not going to be planting anything more down here. We have the pines already. We go ahead and delete this lumberjack. And that tooth grindstone. Okay. The lumberjack can stay for a little bit. Or not the lumberjack, the forester. I think I'm going to go ahead and order those oaks removed. Clean this up a little bit. And then let's go ahead and order all these thorns removed so they're just gone. Oops. Don't delete those. I am going to order these to not be planted anymore because we don't need to plant them anymore. Get rid of this forester. Get rid of this log pile. And then we can build another log pile over here where it's actually going to be useful. We don't need these swimming pools anymore. They're poorly positioned, just all around. Okay. Now, storage, large industrial pile. I can't quite fit one in here. Which I'd kind of like to have one over here. It'd make it a lot easier for our workers. I'll worry about it later. Is there any reason to keep doing science once you've unlocked everything? I think there is some stuff that consumes science. I don't remember. The control tower for Iron Teeth does consume science. And that boosts bots. It consumes 3 per hour. Per control tower. Basically every bot within the area gets a boost. So I suppose if you're using lots of bots and you build tons of control towers, you probably need to still do science. I'm not sure about the folktale, if they have a continuing use for science or not. Let's see, where do I want to put this? You will store logs. You will also store logs. You can never have enough logs. Okay. Do you think the bots are worth it? Bots are very worth it. Because they work 24/7. So if you put them on any industry, you immediately have that industry working Not twice as fast, but like half again as fast with the default work hours. Also, bots don't get injured. So if you have any workplace that has a high chance of injury, for example, a mine, high chance of injury, or certain kinds of factories. I don't know if any of these have a high chance of injury or not. Like most of these have a medium chance of injury. Any kind of work that's a high chance of injury is a good idea for a bot. Dirt excavators are one that has a high chance of injury. It used to be in earlier versions you couldn't even use an earth excavator without bots. They just straight up wouldn't let you. Thankfully they changed that. I think that's all the deeper that hole needs to go. Yes it is. Okay, good. That does mean that I can go ahead and put in the vertical tubeways here. And we can put in our tubeway station. Not that it will connect to anything yet, but how do you assign a bot to a particular workspace? Once you have bots in your colony, there will be a button somewhere up here. And it'll choose between whether you want normal workers or bots to work there. A few places I think you get for free, but most places you have to spend science to unlock the ability for the bot to work there. Once you've unlocked a particular kind of workspace, though, it's unlocked for all copies of that workspace. Yeah. Each individual building is of either bots or beavers. If you want to mix, you're going to have to build 2 separate buildings. Which isn't that big of a hardship. Okay. I do need to get... Actually, here, we can do it this way. Can I put in... Okay, I cannot put in any kind at all over top of that. Well, there's an easy fix for that problem. Overhangs. Okay, now. How do I want to run the stairs here? Actually, no, I don't want to run it that way at all. Upon second thought. Because we need to come up right there. So we need to do that. Okay, that should do it. And then on top of this, we put in a storage. Industrial pile. Boom. You will hold logs and you will supply to other warehouses. Somewhat awkward way to have to do it, putting it up top like that, but and we'll roof it. Although we'll have to get beavers up there to build the roof somehow. We'll put in some temporary stairs or something later. For now, I'm just going to designate it so I don't forget that I want to have that. We will have a space right there for a third flag, which I'm actually going to go ahead and put in a third lumberjack flag there right now. I do want more of those. All right. Our wood problems are solved. I should put a temporary flag over here to cut these oaks down. We'll wait for them all to grow and then we'll take care of it then. And I am actually going to cancel demolition on those. Because by the time I get over there, they will be grown. And additionally, I'm going to make sure I unmark these pines for cutting. Because there are permanent source of resin pines. Oh, I need to assign more wood cutting areas over here. I almost forgot. Okay, beautiful. These warehouses are all empty. I'm going to set them prioritized by haulers because otherwise it'll be a little inconvenient. How are we doing on population? We have 6 empty jobs. Okay, that means we have 4 haulers in the settlement, which is not enough. Let's go ahead and tick up the priority on those breeding pods. Okay, how are you guys doing on population? You have 22 extra beavers. We could probably remove one of those breeding pods. I think we have one too many at least. Still a few extra beavers. We don't have any food problems at all. So it's not a problem. And it's better to have extra beavers for when you start building stuff and suddenly run out than it is to have the other way around. Yeah. We need to improve the valving on this water. And this water. Instead of having a shared one in the middle, we need individual for each side. Obviously during the drought that doesn't matter, but... we're out of bad water. Oh yeah, because the bad water pumps can't actually... Okay. We're doing a lot better now on resources again. So we could probably blow this open and cover it with a bad water discharge. I'm going to go ahead and put in a lumberjack flag down here. I'm going to order all these trees removed. We don't really need the wood, but I do want the trees gone. Okay, looks like they got the dynamite up here. Placed. And that does result in full irrigation. Hell yeah. Not that I thought it wouldn't, but we'll platform over that so we can build the farmhouses on top of it. And we're almost ready to start with our new farming area up here. Then I just need to decide where we're going to build the food production actual buildings. To turn all of our... basically we need to put in food factories to produce corn rations and... we're gonna call them eggplant rations, as well as press oil. We could put that over here. Clear out the old kohlrabi, put in farm or put in factory down here. It's kind of far away from the tube station, so it might be better to put it over here where the old living quarters were, because that is right by the tube station. I'm gonna have a more or less direct shot, I believe, from the farms. Speaking of farms, how is the underground? It's progressing well. Okay, hell yeah. Let's get the farm tubeway built. We could build it over here, but I don't want to waste the large flat green area. For the same reason I shouldn't build over here. Because eventually we will stop our bad water problems, and then we won't have to worry about everything up here dying all the time. But anyway. Stop talking, Treebeard. He has timestamps turned on for chat. I do actually have timestamps turned on for chat. Thank you for reminding me that I should probably end soon, survey. No, I already noticed the time and I've been ignoring it. But I really should probably wrap it up soon. Okay, we can delete this large tank now. They have built all of the things up there, so we can go ahead and delete these water pumps, including the automation for them, which is no longer used. Yep. Okay. We do have these 3 inventor huts. Do I want to keep inventor huts, or do I want to move on to something else? We could get a number cruncher, which produces tons and tons of science for free. Or, well, for mechanical power, which might as well be free. But I don't really need tons of science. It wouldn't hurt anything. If I do build a number cruncher, okay, what's this cost? 100 gears, 50 metal parts, 30 planks. It's not even that expensive. I mean, sure, 100 gears is expensive, but... Oh, also I'll prioritize that. We need places to store logs. I must prioritize that. As much as I do want the underground built. Log storage is probably more useful. Okay. Walk away, the one getting blamed. Okay. No, actually, I usually don't pay attention to the chat timestamps too much. But I have, like, clocks in the bottom corner of both of the other 2 monitors, so... It's like right there. I can see the time usually. And half the time when I, like, rolling back a little bit of the mystery here. Half the time when I say I just noticed what time it is, I actually noticed what time it is like 10 or 15 minutes before. Sorry if that crushes some illusions. But anyway. Oh. We need a better source of bad water. This one's functioning. What we really need is more haulers. They did finally get these breeding pods online. So we are making inroads into our beaver population woes. Let's get some more hauling posts built. Okay, hauling posts are minimum priority jobs. They're where everyone goes when we don't have anything better to do. Builder huts are low priority. Should know these builder huts should be the minimum priority as well. Okay. And that does mean I can delete these two. Yeah. We'll set those to moderate. Alright. They are getting these platforms built. That's good news. Let's bump the priority on that flag. It doesn't require any resources, so it's fast to build. It looks like we're once again in short on planks land. We do have a few planks over here that could be all the way. Okay. Yeah. So next week, we'll finish getting the new farming sector up. We'll get a new source of high quality bulk food. And then we'll probably start working on dealing with this bad water, maybe? Yeah, something like that. And maybe we'll do some further work with these water sources to provide better drought performance. Things like that. I'm fairly happy with how much we got done today. It was a bit slow because of our log shortage. But that's mostly resolved itself now. We did the work required and fixed that problem. And now we have this beautiful green valley to build around. I might end up moving the district center up here somewhere. I don't think it really matters where the district center is. Because like beavers don't actually use the district center for anything. As long as the beavers live close to their jobs, it shouldn't matter. Unfortunately, the game's kind of dumb about that. It doesn't try to make the beavers live close to their jobs. So we just need to make sure all the housing is close to where all the jobs are. Which is why we built the housing up here in this cliff. That way it's mostly equidistant from everything that has to be done in this whole area. So this one housing can serve both of these craters and problem solved. But anyway, let's save the game. Tomorrow is Thursday. And Thursday means that we're going to be playing Zoo Tycoon 1. I got it all set up. I tested it. It worked for playing tutorials anyway. So I guess we're just gonna pick a scenario and go for it. I don't know. It would be kind of cool to unlock all of the secret animals. It would actually be very cool to unlock all the secret animals. But that's a lot of Zoo Tycoon. We'll see. We're definitely not getting that done in one day. So I suppose it depends on how much fun I have. So we'll probably just start with the easy scenarios and absolutely crush them because I do know how to play that game fairly well. And go from there. It has been many, 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 many years since I've played Zoo Tycoon 1. And I am very much looking forward to it. I wanted to play it a while ago, but I just couldn't get it to work. And then I tried again a while after that, like a year later, and still couldn't get it to work. But I have solved that issue now. So that's tomorrow. Friday, of course, will be EDF 6. Assuming we don't have anyone who can't show up, which I haven't heard anything to that direction, so I assume it will go through. Saturday and Sunday likely will be Valheim. I would like to wrap the Valheim run up so that I can have some time to do other things. But yeah. I don't think we'll manage to do it this weekend. There's too many things left that I want to do. Monday, of course, will be Crab Champions. And then next Tuesday and Wednesday will be more Timberborn, where we will continue working on this lovely little colony we have going. And after I get bored of this colony, we probably will start another one because there's another map I really want to play. And yeah. We've got a lot of Timberborn in us. Oh, I got a giant pile of games I want to play. And just not enough time to do them all. I think I had pretty much all of my streams blocked out for at least the rest of the year. That's assuming no new releases come out that I have to play. Help, there's too many games. Let's see. Is anyone doing anything interesting tonight in the old follow list? It looks like Abby is playing Battletech. Is that the turn-based one? Yes, it is. Okay. Sure, let's raid Abby. Why not? When's the Wartails run coming? Probably never. I have too many other things that I know I like. You know, there's a certain disincentive to try new games that you might like when you have a giant pile of games sitting there that you know you like. It has to be pretty exciting to make you want to try the new thing. I suppose as far as problems go, that's a really nice one to have. Anyway, hopefully, I see you all back here tomorrow for exercises and feeding guests to the T-Rexes. And I will see you all later. Good night. And goodbye.